Fantasy has changed a lot since the 80s as a genre, especially in film. I was wondering, John, if you could maybe speak a little bit to what doing fantasy in the modern day is like compared to maybe how Willow approached it.
Well, it's funny, you know, because when we started doing the show, Ron and I were trying to get this off the ground, and what Ron kept saying to me is, you know, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, they wouldn't exist without Willow. We set the tone. And it's interesting, if you look back at the movie, there's a realism and a grit to it that fantasy had never had before Willow did. And then now we live in a world where there's huge fantasy shows like Game of Thrones and like the Lord of the Rings movies that really took from what Willow did a sense of reality and a sense of sort of texture to the universe that was new. So the burden on us was, how do we take it even further? And what's so exciting is when you see that teaser, I feel like we were able to marry sort of the energy of the original movie with what's possible technologically now and sort of what you expect a show that's made in 22 to look like. So updating this world and having it focus on these characters, it was natural fit.
George and Ron, when they made the movie, established this world so solidly in people's minds that, I often hear from families who say, I grew up watching this movie as a kid, I've now had children myself and handed it on to them. So it's a very generational film. And now the series is going to take it one step further for them.
Obviously shows like, Game of Thrones, Wheel of Time, they're very big. These are very like adult-focused shows. What is so exciting about doing something that is more family-oriented?
Ours is going to be more fun.
So funny.
By many multiples. No, it's a great question, and what struck us all as we were making the show was, I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, but what we saw here was an opportunity to do something that was a lot lighter, that had an opportunity for comedy, that could be scary and exciting in the way that Raiders of the Lost Ark is. And that's really what Ron had said to me when we started, was that he wanted to hit the tone of Raiders of the Lost Ark with Willow and do it in a fantasy world. And that's the tone we've tried to keep throughout the show, and everyone gets to have laughs with each other. Nobody takes themselves too seriously. And and there's no cursing.
The world needs you again. It needs your magic.
Into the unknown.